Hello everyone, my name is Corazar, and welcome back to the Vintage Story Guide. We made it! We are back. We are finally back home after our big 2-episode trip home, and it is a nice, still night, except for the rift activity over here. But boy is it good to be back. Now it is a bit unfortunate that we came back in winter. I would have preferred to be out till spring, but you know what? I guess we can see if Santa left us any gifts. What's that, Bert? What? Santa skipped our house? What? Oh! We never built our chimney. Oh, that makes perfect sense. Well, everyone, we did make it back, and we made it back with a ton of stuff. But let me tell you a bit about our trip along the way, because there are a few odds and ends that we have now that we didn't before we left off last episode. Before we even started the journey home, I stumbled upon another patch of terra preta. Yes, please. As we started out, I took a peek down a few holes along the way, hoping to find a shallow translocator. But luck was not on our side this time. We had a bit of fun sailing. Unfortunately, the wind was not at our backs. I took down some more green spire cypress trees to fill out our collection. We stumbled across our first fruiting saguaro cactus. These can be harvested by holding right-click on the fruit-bearing tips. The fruit will heal you 1 hit point when you eat it, but it does lose this effect if you cook with it. We spotted a sun bear. I thought it was a black bear, but it's too small. These guys are generally harmless and will run away from you. It rained a lot on our journey. I broke a lot of seed vessels along the way, hoping to find some pumpkin seeds. We found an olive tree. These trees act in all ways like fruit trees, except that their fruit is a vegetable. We finally ran into our first very lonely hyena. As you can see, they don't hit hard, and don't put up much of a fight. But a pack of them can still tear you to pieces if you don't have any armor. As you can see though, they offer only bushmeat, but they are a source of medium hides, fat, and bones. I found some more terra preta. We are set for life now. Then we ran into an actual pack of hyenas. Where have these guys been hiding? Also, another seed vessel. The orange color made my heart leap at first, but it was only carrots. We ran through a sandstorm. I wish I had my rollerblades and cool sunglasses. Then we were betrayed by yet another seed vessel. And the next one. And the next one. We braved deep waters during a nighttime shower, and it started snowing about halfway back. It was at this moment that I remembered I left my warm clothes at home, and everything I was currently wearing was in tatters. Once again, we braved the slopes of the Misty Mountains. Wish I had warm boots. We found yet another seed vessel. But this time, we hit pay dirt. Pumpkins at last. And then, are you kidding me? More pumpkin seeds? Right next to where we harvested bald cypress? As we neared the cliffs where we spent the first night of our journey, snow blanketed the land. And a brown bear attacked. It's a good thing they don't have opposable thumbs, or bows and arrows. But at long last, we returned to the translocator we started from. From there, it was a straight shot home through terrain we already know. And at long last, we made it. After being away for about 2 months, we finally made it home safe. And that brings us to where we are here, and talking about that reminds me that we need to switch over to our winter gear because it is negative 5.8 degrees, and even though we're indoors, we are a little bit chilly. We're 0.3 degrees colder than we should be. So we need to get our clothes going on here. And then let's go ahead and we're going to fix up our clothes once more with some of this linen. Now, we're at 20% for most of these, so if we do one of each, left clicking on all of these, then we can also use, 2 each of flax twine and get you all up to almost 100%. And now we are going to be nice and warm. Do note that in the upcoming 1.19 release, apparently Tyron is somewhat nerfing the warmth that these things provide. I don't know how much yet, so I guess we'll find out, but I'm kind of disappointed. Alright, now we are here for, finally, what you've all been waiting for, is our loot. Check it out. We got 2 stacks of Purple Heart logs. I made room specifically for the Purple Heart and a little bit of ebony, because these trees are pretty slow to grow, And we won't have any trouble growing the bald cypress or the acacia because they are fast-growing trees. We got 24 green spire cypress seeds, 7 bald cypress seeds, 2 ebony seeds, didn't get any more unfortunately, 5 purple heart seeds, 7 brown bamboo saplings, and 13 acacia seeds. We got a really nice smattering of the southern crops: soybeans, cassava, rice, amaranth, and sunflower. We got a couple pineapple seeds, not many, but then again, we really can't grow them effectively up here, and they're not my favorite fruit anyway, as far as nutrition in vegetatory goes. And we finally got a whopping 10 pumpkin seeds. These will be fun to grow next year, and I can't wait to do it. We got some papyrus root, some golden poppies, barrel cactus, orange mallow, and tall ferns, almost 2 stacks of terra preta, and a couple bony cow skulls. So all in all, a pretty good haul. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed the trip south. That being said, we didn't actually see everything there is to see in the south, and that's okay. There's a lot to see and experience in this game, and you may not experience it all your first time or your second time or third time through. So maybe if you want to check out everything in the south, you might want to just live there. You can start a game there if you want to. But there are several fruit trees we never spotted, there is at least 1 crop we never found, and a few more odds and ends, like the rafflesia flowers that we never experienced while we were down there. But we did see most of those in the first season, so if you want to take a look at those in a video, then check out the latter half of the first season, or check it out in-game yourself. But Kurazar, what are we going to do this episode? We've been talking about last episode. Well, we are checking our containers to see if we have what we need for the episode, and it turns out that we don't. But we are going to finally start our way into... Why is this closed? We're finally going to make our way into steel making. Not in this episode, probably in, if not the next one, then the one after, because there is a serious amount of prep work that has to go into steel making, and we're going to start that process today. And the reason I was checking my chests is that steelmaking requires copious amounts of quartz and copious amounts of bauxite. And we have the one, but not the other. It also requires doubly copious amounts of fire clay, and as you can see, we have a whopping 2 stacks. This will get us nowhere. The first thing we'll do is in the morning, we'll set out and we're going to go and get us some more bauxite and some more fire clay. I want to fill my inventory with probably at least the fire clay, and maybe half of it with the bauxite small stones, and then we'll be ready to start the process of converting these into the materials that we need for steel making. And hello, Temporal Storm. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I stand corrected. Tomorrow, we do a Temporal Storm, and the day after, then we go and get resources. I'll see all of you then. Oh boy, did I fall asleep at my desk again? Oh man. Well, it is morning now, as you can see, so it is time for us to stand up, walk over our desk, and we're going to head out in the wee hours of the morning with some food, Kurazar. There we go. How about you? Sure, that's probably enough. We'll bring it with us, why not? Just to be doubly certain. We're going to head down to Jasper, where he lives, because he lives near some bauxite. And let's get down there. Jasper, hey buddy. Hey Jaspy old pal. Hey, do you happen to have any... Oh, you're chilly. Oh my goodness. You don't happen to have any... Oh, you do! Some resin. Alright, not a ton, but it'll do. I'll take it. Thank you. That is one little errand done. But I'm going to get down here and I'm going to probably quarry out some bauxite so we can get some of the full-size stones as well. But we are here mostly for the small stones. Small bauxite stones are one of the essential ingredients for steel making, and you will see why in hopefully relatively short order. Okay, and here we are unloading all of our bauxite. And that's not even all of it because we have another set in our backpack right here. All done. Back on our backs. So we're going to leave that here for now. And we'll come back to it in a little bit when we are ready for the next step. But I'm going to clear up my inventory and go get some fire clay. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. You know what? It's not too dark out. We're not going very far, and we're not going somewhere particularly dangerous. So let's get our lantern back on for you guys. Oh, and for me too. And let's go get us some fire clay. I'm going to fill up my inventory with fire clay. And I'm going to not compact these. We cannot compact these into bricks, unfortunately. Well, I might do some into bricks because I want some anyway, but by and large, we need lots and lots of fire clay that is not in brick format. Alright, folks, here we are with a bag full of fire clay. Let's put all this in here. It'll even fit. Barely. But we have even more. That's right, we have tons and tons of fire clay. And I even made some bricks too. So we are good there. Alright, Kurazar, you've made us go and get tons of fire clay, a whole bunch of bauxite, and we already had it, but if you are making steel, you need tons of quartz. In fact, you need exactly as much quartz as you have bauxite. Now, today we are going to be working on getting ready for kind of the most basic steel setup. They don't get much more complicated than the basic setup, but there are some other options as for what you can do materials-wise. The reason we need all these materials is that we are going to be making pulverized quartz and pulverized bauxite, and then turn them into refractory bricks. Now, these come in 3 different tiers. We are making tier 1, which is fire clay, crushed quartz, and crushed bauxite. There are tiers 2 and 3. Tier 2 requires, in addition to the above, also some crushed olivine, and the tier 3 bricks require, in addition to that, crushed ilmenite. Now, this is something you can't even get until you have steel. While you can actually acquire the chunks via a bomb, you can't crush the ilmenite into crushed ilmenite without steel pounder caps on your pulverizer. So if you find ilmenite, you get excited, but you're still in the Iron Age, ignore it for now. You can make do with tier 2 or tier 1 even. Now, the difference between all of these tiers is that when you use them to make refractory bricks, the actual blocks here, when you are done firing, there's a chance that each block might be damaged from the process because they're, it's a high heat process. The tier 1 bricks have a 90% chance to survive, which means you'll lose about 10% of your bricks every time. The tier 2 have a 95% chance of surviving, and the tier 3 have a 99% chance of surviving. Given that there are about 53 blocks of refractory bricks used in each cementation furnace for your steel making, we will be losing about 5 blocks per firing, maybe 5.3. Now, we do know where some olivine is. We could go and start out at tier 2 because olivine only requires bronze and is right in here. But I think for our purposes today, we are just going to start with tier 1. We didn't do it last season, so may as well try it this season. Now, if we are going to be crushing these up, we need to have our pulverizer. I said our pulverizer. There we go. Back in working order, and we can use it as it is. We will, however, need some additional materials to set it up so that we don't have to babysit it while it is working. Because right now, all this can do is it will spit these out onto the floor, and then we have to go and pick them up, and that's not ideal. So let's just go ahead and grab some stuff here. We're going to bring these downstairs. And you know what? I'll grab a project bin too. And next thing up is that we need to make a hopper. And for that, we will need 6 copper ingots. And we're going to turn those into plates. Okay, now that we have that, let's make our hopper. It is done just by doing this. We have our very first copper hopper. They're always copper, that's why they rhyme. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up our pulverizer here, probably right around here. Why can't I? Oh, you need to be down a little bit. Okay. I actually like that better. It's just not going to line up for the gear shaft here. But I'm going to go ahead and set this up here. You've already seen me set up the pulverizer before. So I'm going to set it up, and then once we're done, we'll talk about the changes we're going to make to it, and we'll make those together. And there you go. As you can see, this is going pretty fast. Notably faster than it was when we first built this. However, if we were to, say, chop out this, well, it would get a little glitchy for a moment. Then once it figures out exactly how fast it should be going, it should settle into a more normal pace. I think. Either that or this is the actual pace. Let's find out. Oh, you bet. Oh, you bet. Shower me with money. Oh my goodness. Yes, shower me with this money. Like sitting below the slot machines with your hands cupped. Oh, this is how it's meant to be. This is how it's meant to be, folks. Okay, well, that is very annoying. I will say that, first of all. Let's go ahead and hook this back up. It's going to slow things down quite a bit, but that's okay. Oops. There's a gear up there. Okay, there we go. Whew, much more manageable. But now you see that it's going at a kind of boring pace, right? Well, that's because, as we mentioned before, a long time ago, we don't have enough torque because we are overdriving our transmission here, or our drivetrain. And so we are losing torque, but gaining power, i.e. we're losing turning power and strength and exchanging it for speed. But as you can see, when we disconnected this axle here from our help hammer, which is very hungry torque-wise, this suddenly went into nutso mode, and we got a stack of crushed bauxite in about, what, 15 seconds? So we have an option. We can either come through here and either, like, cut this out every time we want to use this at full speed, or we could make a clutch and transmission. And I think that's what I want to do. We didn't do any of that in the last season, but I think this time around, I want to build clutches and transmissions for all of our devices. That way, when we're not using them, we can turn them off, and they won't make noise. Our system will still be spinning, and we'll still get the sort of creaking of wood. We won't have this thing to contend with, and we won't hear the banging of our help hammer constantly. So for a transmission, we need 2 angled gears and 2 resin. That is 4 resin. Wow, that's a miscalculation on my part. So it is actually going to be possibly, 6 resin per clutch and transmission combo. That's spicy. That leaves 8 for a large gear up at our second set of windmills, and then we only have enough for a couple more rotors. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate, but we'll get some more resin eventually. We just won't upgrade today. And we're going to go ahead and we're just going to follow these directions. So let's go ahead and get these in here. Okay. With that all made up, it is time for us to break this connection here. I'm just going to pop both of our, at least one of our gears off. And maybe we'll even put like a little support here. So let's do something like this. Keeping everything held up nice and straight. And we're going to put a transmission right there. As you can see, it's doing nothing because it only hooks up to this over here. So let's get on the other side and we will reconnect it to this gear here. As you can see, they don't make contact. So we need to put a clutch in here, and the clutch goes on the next block. And it goes like that. And once we right click it, oh, really now? You done me dirty, game. Done me dirty. Let's put it there. No. Why do you not want to go? I guess we do it there. A little goofy, but it works. As you can see, we turn it on, it connects, we get power, we turn it off. It does not. So we're going to go do this outside in our smithy to our help hammer out there. And we do have all the parts we need. Good. And we'll get that hooked up. That way we can turn that off when we're not using it. Then we can leave our top hammer here with the anvil and not have to listen to its wild clanging. And let's put our clutch here in the back. And look at that. Look at that. My goodness. And now we can turn this off and leave the anvil where it is and not care. Great. Amazing. Now, as you might recall, we made a hopper. Where is it? What are we doing with it? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to put the hopper right here. And then below that, we're going to put a chest. Ta-da! Now, although these don't connect, if we put things in the hopper, let's go ahead and put something in the hopper. You'll hear it sort of clang out of it, and then blam, it is in the chest. Now, one thing to be aware of is that even with this hopper here, because the game kind of randomly spits out the pieces as they're crushed, there's a chance they might end up kind of popping out like on the edge here, or skipping over the hopper, or getting caught here even. This is a little less common. It's more often that they'll get sort of thrown over the side or over the back. So we're going to build a little guide for things to make sure that everything gets shuttled into the hopper and then down into the chest. And to do that, we're going to basically just chisel a little guide and put it right over top of the hopper here. Okay, let's come in here with a bit of slate. Yeah, slate will do. Build some scaffolding so we can get up here and really see what we're doing. There we go. And let's start getting this chiseled. So what we're going to do is we're going to hollow this out, and then I'm going to make it a little fancier. And there we go. We now have a wire mesh grating that will cover this up and make sure that all of our crushed quartz and bauxite actually goes where we want it to. I think that's pretty nice. Now, speaking of nice, let's make this a little bit better looking and better supported. I think all we really need is a bit of like a column under here. Maybe we'll just use some stone. So let's go try that out. Now, I do think I want to make this appear supported, so let's do that first of all. And then over here, we could do some more wood logs, and that matches pretty well. Let's see if this looks better with, say, some granite underneath it. I've brought a few options. Let's try some bricks first. You know what? I like that a lot because it matches the granite stone there. Let's go with that. Now, unfortunately, the wind is calm, so we're not going to get much pulverizing done. But for now, let's go ahead and load up our input chest with some more bauxite and quartz and get it ready for the crushing. Okay, loading, here we go. And that should give us 8 stacks each. Now, once again, as I mentioned before with the quern and the pulverizer before, we do want to make sure we stay in this area. So until this is all crushed, we don't want to go anywhere. Let's also turn you on. There we go. So once the wind picks up, this should be done in like 3 minutes tops. So let's go and get ready for the other thing, because once we have this bauxite and this quartz all crushed up, we need to make bricks. And if we're making bricks, we need to fire them. And I don't really want to go over to our old house to fire these things. I think it's time for us to create a brick firing solution for right here in this home. Yes! Yes! More power! More power! As you can see, even this solution isn't quite perfect. It left a couple out on the floor. I think because they spawned just outside of here. And that's okay, though. We'll just make sure that we come back every so often to gather up anything that fell on the floor. But yeah, here we go. This should be done in just a little while. We have a very light breeze, so it's not going super fast. It is going really, really fast compared to a 1x speed hooked up to a standard powertrain. Okay, so the next order of business is getting a place to fire our fire clay bricks and our refractory bricks. Now, let's go ahead and make these. I'll show you how they're made. These are formless, so you can put them however you want in the crafting grid. You'll get your refractory bricks. I want to make 2 refractory furnaces, and a refractory furnace requires 53 blocks of these bricks. 8 of these give you 2 bricks. So we need effectively 53 times 8 of these, because 1 gets 2, so we're doubling the recipe, and so we need tons and tons of these. So we're going to go a little higher than that, and we're just going to make 8 stacks of 64. That will give us some spare bricks when we complete our firings and our bricks get damaged, as well as for a couple other bricks that we need that do require additional refractory bricks. Okay, 8 stacks of bricks. Wonderful. And now for a place to fire them. I was thinking it would be fun to have our refractory area back here, as well as maybe a casting table or 2, and then have the walls, or at least the walls on this side, lined with pit kilns. And we could have chimneys going to the surface that put smoke up. I think that could be pretty fun. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to dig out enough room here for 2 refractory furnaces and a bunch of other stuff. Now the furnaces themselves are about 5 blocks wide, and we'll get into how those work in the next episode because we don't have the materials we need. They're still here, wet. And they are another multi-block structure in the game, kind of like charcoal pits, but notably different. So let's go ahead, we're going to clear out at least 10 blocks of space, but I'm thinking maybe 12 or maybe even 14 to give us some more room for pit kilns and for our casting table. So I'm going to go ahead and let's get this room cleared out here. We're not going to decorate it the whole way today because we need to be able to build our refractory furnaces, and also because I don't have enough fire clay bricks. Some of these are going to get made in the initial firing that we're doing here today. But let's get this process started. I am thinking we'll have maybe a 2-block thick wall here, maybe even 3 actually, because we have these here, so we need this back here. Let's do a 3-block wide wall before we even do anything else, and here is where our room will start. Okay, let's get to it. Well, that's different. Maybe we'll do a bit of an external build, perhaps. Or we could, of course, just fill this in with some more dirt and call it a day. That's a possibility too. In fact, I might want to take this little hillock down and kind of clear our view so we have a better view of what's going on back here. And we'll use this dirt to fill in this hole here. Okay, with all of this set up now, it is time for us to actually make use of this room. I think for now, for this episode, we are not going to complete all the decorations. We're going to use this as a functional room in order to actually fire all of our bricks. And we do need to fire all of them. Now, I'm probably going to have to go and use our old house for some of this, because this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's almost a stack of bricks. And we have like, what, 12 stacks of bricks? 11 stacks of bricks? 11, looks like. So we're going to be firing bricks for a little while. But let's get to it and get these bricks in here. I'm going to start with the regular bricks because we're going to need these for decoration here. And yep, 12 bricks maximum. Okay. Given how many we have to do, I might temporarily turn some of these into pit kilns. Now it's time to see if we have enough grow. We do not have enough grass for this operation. That's unfortunate. But let's get in what we can. Then I'll take some time between episodes to stock up on grass. And keep firing things. Now we're in an enclosed room with no oxygen able to enter from other than the door, so don't do this at home, kids. Smells great in here. Love it. Well, everyone, that is about it for everything you need to know as far as getting your materials ready for steel making. Now, we have a bit of waiting to do, and I'm not going to make all of you sit through it, which is we have to fire all this clay, and I need to go and gather some materials for the rest of our build. We are woefully short on basalt, and I want to use some more basalt in here. We also need to wait for our fire clay bricks to run and get cooked here. And I also need some more limestone for the ceiling, because I do want to keep using limestone. I want to kind of continue most of this pattern in here. And yes, that includes the use of the baked bean floor. All you haters out there, get ready. I also need to go and scythe up some more grass, so I'm going to get to that. And I might need to check on the number of sticks and amount of peat that we have, and maybe see to that as well. In the next episode, get ready for building our first 2, hopefully, cementation furnaces. They'll be what we use to turn iron into steel. We will also be decorating that room and building it out. And as you can see, it is a lower floor than our current room. And yes, I am going to have a little step down in there. Maybe we'll get wild and bust up the chisel too. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something new. And as always, my name has been Kurazar. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.